one with number 5, we find that operator A and operator B use different either operating models come up with their own maps which they post on their website. That's why every operator we have on their website a map showing fastest 4G network all over Kenya. Okay. And so on and so forth. Right. So enterprise integration, the need to integrate the existing systems, spectrum related, and also those with other functionalities, especially compliance, statistics reporting, and so on, and also the regional offices to ensure that there is they operate in a cohesive level. So the GIS platform on this will be so useful. Cross-border coordination, following now the rapid deployments of advanced mobile broadband systems, we realize that different neighboring countries have adopted different approaches. Even at various international conferences, we find that, for instance, the neighboring country will take a stand against on a different pattern. So we identify a different band for broadcasting, another one for mobile, and so on and so forth. So everyone has their own preference. It can be achieved through footnotes, as has been the practice, and that's perfectly legal within the mandate of the country, the mandate of the regulator of the country. That is a sovereign right. So spectrum is a natural and national resource. So cross-border coordination issues, we find challenges with especially along the border areas due to the various types of technologies deployed. So post-roaming issues, we're trying to work better on how to address this. Greater collaboration with our neighboring countries will help. Sometimes when you're conducting these activities, you realize that the operator and the regulator for each country are all using different platforms or systems, so that you can have a meeting with 4 people and everyone is using a different proprietary system. So under the capacity of existing systems, I mentioned the issue of trend analysis. If I wanted to see sublocation A, like my sublocation where I come from, but it's a very remote location, far more remote than the main. So we really benefit from having a trend analysis to show the time series from 2010 to now, every year, what has been the progressive coverage in which areas, like especially the adjacent areas, the sites that have been deployed, and it also help point out something. The telecom issue, it's been in the press for many years now that customers are suffering from poor service. So what exactly can be done in terms of mapping this time series on the effective broadband coverage for some of those areas? So I think that will take me to the end of the last slide. And thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dennis. Unfortunately, we are running out of time. We need to speed up. But all this is interesting, isn't it? We've listened to the state of affairs, as they say. Insofar as CA is concerned, we are next going to have a look at the state of affairs as far as other agencies and government agencies is concerned. But before we take a break, there's an opportunity, a 5 minutes opportunity maximum for any burning questions or questions for clarifications. Yes. Mike, please, to that end. Maybe you need a mic also for this gentleman? They don't have to stand. Stella, can you just help us now?
Good morning. I wear lots of hats, but my name is Ben Roberts, and I'll say ICT in the Private Sector Alliance. I've probably got 2 questions. I'll make them very simple, but it's building on from your remarks, Mr. Kamai. Number 1 question is, what is broadband? Number 2 question is, how do we inform consumers about broadband? The subject we're talking about is National Broadband Systems Mapping in Kenya, and as exactly as Mr. Kamai mentioned, we have a problem with our definition of broadband. I was involved in the 2019 ICT policy, and I did keep bringing this up, but nobody wants to go back on it, I think. We've set the definition of broadband extremely low, and so if the aim of our definition and our mapping is to give us a tick in our KPIs and say, tick, we've done it, let's all go home. We don't need to be here. Because you know, the definition of broadband is exceeded by far by one operator called Starlink for 100% of the country who have a license in Kenya. So we may as well not even be in the room. We may as well just let Starlink do that and leave and not even do any mapping. But the reality is that you know, first of all, there's a difference. Every jurisdiction in the world is defining mobile broadband and fixed broadband differently. Some mobile technologies employed in certain ways can deliver the fixed broadband, such as fixed wireless access 5G. But we need to decouple the technology side and say, what is mobile broadband, what is fixed broadband? My colleague here lives in Lavington. He says he uses Starlink because it's more reliable than the fiber he gets in Lavington. So we have not just talking about speeds, it's talking about reliability. We need a definition that is definition of more like this concept of meaningful broadband or meaningful connectivity, but it also then needs to hone into that definition some technical parameters and more than one technical parameter, not just speed. So we need to revisit this. We can't do any more mapping or anything until we really understand what is the you know, what that is all about, and we can't hark back to targets of Vision 2030. When Vision 2030 was written, we didn't even have vision. We'd be sitting at home doing Zoom calls for our work. We had a vision of something else. So we need to readjust the expectation, and that needs to come back to the consumer's expectation. So the second question is, how do we inform consumers? We've got a confused consumer. They don't know. They're confused between terms of Wi-Fi and 4G and Starlink, and then that guy down my way who's going to come and do a connection for me, you know. And we're not even really enforcing some of these things that are happening. Local illegal ISPs or people who are putting up networks around the area, operating without licenses. We're not really enforcing these things. But to a good example of you know, consumer awareness, the subject of national broadband mapping systems that we're talking about, I was made aware of earlier this year in a workshop, and I'll just digging up again, but the French regulator, ARCEP, have got extremely good national broadband coverage plans. So they have one for fibre that says in your area what is the percentage of homes that are covered by fibre connectivity, and then they've got another one for mobile broadband. We might need to apply it slightly differently, but as a regulator, you know, the French regulator are making this available to a consumer portal, and I think that is somewhere where it would be a service to the industry and the consumer if the CA can be hoping to emulate what France is doing here to provide information to deconfuse the consumer. As service providers, all different service providers in the room go and tell the consumer different things about their broadband, but the regulator's role, I think, is to you know, inform the consumer in an independent way, and I think that can be done for a project like this. I'm looking forward to seeing the outcomes.
Yeah, thank you very much for those comments and the challenges you've posed. I think none of us can answer both of your questions effectively. I think these are matters that have to go into further investigation. The question of defining broadband, and I'm not talking about just here in Kenya. I think it is a problem everywhere. In my view, and this is my personal view, is that defining broadband from a technology perspective is wrong. it should be from a consumer perspective. Because what is the point of putting a number which means nothing? It is not meaningful. Saying that 5G is broadband, so what? Is it meaningful? So I think these are things that we need to discuss. Secondly, your second question of how do we inform consumers? The team from Consumer Affairs, the whole team. They didn't think about that. The customers, you see, is confused. The whole amount of technology is coming from all over. They don't know which one to go for, what does it mean. The consumer is struggling to get a solution. We've heard about all manner of satellite-based, terrestrial-based. As a consumer, I need to be empowered so that I can make a quick decision which direction to take. Very important question. Unfortunately, I'm not going to pose any of those questions to them. I would prefer that those questions go into the discussion and the whole mapping process. What is important that has come out of your question is this. Should we, you almost said so, should we be mapping or should we be deciding first where do we want to go? We seem to be want to start mapping based on what we've been doing. And apparently, it seems to be that what we've been doing is not quite okay. It's not meaningful. So let's think about that. Any other quick intervention, or do we take a break? I see none, so I think let's take a 20 minutes coffee break. After coffee break, we'll come and listen to other government agencies, what they've done in the whole question of deployment of broadband and mapping of the same, and then we move from there. So 20 minutes means 11:20, we should be back. Thank you very much, and a round of applause for
Thank you very much, Mr. Kimei, for that. You and your panelists will applause for a moment there for group.